Hey, yo, what's up? This is Ivan, and YouKnowIGotSoul.com.
Yo, what's up? This is Carvin, and YouKnowIGotSoul.com.
Hey, what's up, guys?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Thank you both for taking this time for the interview, man. We appreciate it, and we're huge supporters of your guys' production.
Thanks, man. Thanks for the love and the future you've shown on us already.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely appreciate it, man.
No doubt. So, just start out at the beginning, kind of talk about how you guys originally linked up and got into this whole production thing together.
Man, Carvin used to play with Parliament Funkadelic, right? I saw some records back in the day. Now, let me stop.
Actually, how it happened was Ivan was the percussionist, but Tito Puentes, I was the bad boy, and later on we started producing together.
Now, we both started, we both started as rappers, and me being a rapper, ironically, is how I ended up meeting Carvin. I met Carvin. We actually met at DJ Jazzy Jazz production company called Attention Jazz Productions, which is if you know anything about Philadelphia modern music scene, it all came through Jeff. Gamble and Hub was the previous generation. All roads came through Jeff after Gamble and Hub. So I remember coming up to Philly, trying to figure out a way I can connect as a rapper, and one of my acquaintances, Darren Henson, he brought me up there, and I was already producing, but I was more so trying to focus on being an MC, and I came up there, and this camp was just so amazing. It was like all these producers and songwriters and artists, and it was just a whole bunch of music, and I met Carvin there, and Carvin was also an aspiring rapper, and we just kind of struck up, like a friendship, and we were even in a rap group together.
Yeah.
While we were down there. Okay. And then that kind of, on my end, that kind of developed into me becoming a producer under the Texas Jazz staff, and which we can elaborate later on a little bit more.
Okay. What would you say, what would you pinpoint as your first break and kind of your first placement that kind of led you to, to the success you're at now?
Well, the good thing is that when we were with Attention Jazz, we collectively worked together as a group, the 6 guys, but so we all were placing records on various acts, from Will Smith to Ken Lattimore to Love Jones soundtrack to who else did we do before we actually got to Cherokee and a couple other different artists. We were just collectively working, but our first initial connection was with music. And that collaboration happened. And basically it came from just music coming into the studio, being brought in by Jerome Hitz and Michael McArthur, the guys who are our managers now, and just going in and creating a sound for them and a vibe for them. But the initial success was, my high point was Just Friends.
Okay.
I think that was both of our high point. That was the one record that kind of cemented something that was to become the Carvin and Ivan sound. And that I got to point out that Carvin was the first person to ever work with music, and that was something he was developing down there, and nobody was really paying attention, and we were kind of like some of the guys down there that were just trying to find a way nobody was really checking for at one point. So I think that was kind of what, to kind of piggyback on the other question you was talking about, that's kind of probably what brought Carvin and Ivan together to help create their synergy. We were kind of like two people that were just, we were aspiring rappers. We didn't really know a whole lot about music in terms of arrangement, orchestration, in key, out of tune. We were basically the kids on the playground that they didn't want to play ball with. We the last that picked on the court.
Oh man!
And I gotta say, the music project, at that time I was really pursuing a lot of hip hop production. I was really trying to, anybody that came through, Common, Slum Village, anybody that came through to the Jazz, Master Ace, Eminem, Beans, we worked with all those guys back then. So I was really more so focusing on developing the hip hop aspect of my sound. And then when Carvin had music down there, I was like, man, this kid is dope. You know, and everybody was like, oh man, he sounds like D'Angelo, which he really didn't. But because you didn't have nothing to compare him to, you automatically threw him in the box. So I was like, Carv, man, I really like this kid. So I gave Carvin some tracks.
Yeah.
I was like, well, we was down there, and one of those tracks that I gave him was the track "You're Just Friends."
Yeah.
Him and Music wrote a crazy record to it, and the rest was history. That was kind of like what cemented that was the inception of like the Carvin and Ivan sound, like that everybody became, kind of came to know what's for.
Yeah. Okay. And you guys have had a huge impact, obviously, on Music's career. You've contributed to many of his albums, especially the first bunch of his albums. Did you ever really expect him to take off like he did to where he is now, one of the premier names in R&B and soul?
You know what? The idea was, when we started the project, it was like, listen, I'm not really trying to appeal to the masses. I just want to have this conversation with people that's just like me. So there's an intelligent hoodlum in every neighborhood across the country, across the world. I want to have that conversation with that intelligent hoodlum. A dude that know how to hustle, know the street game, but actually was an honor roll student and good in school. And basically, I want to speak to that person that got manners, but can be a thug if he needs to be, but don't really want to be a thug, just want to have fun. So these are the people that I want to talk to. So the idea was, that's the communication, that's the conversation, and that's what we're going to talk about. This whole album, to them, for them, and the theory that we have, and we still have, is the whole world is Newsy.
Yeah.
So if there's 1,000 people in one room and there's 2 people off in the corner having a really intense conversation, eventually the whole room will start to pay attention to their conversation because it looks that intense. So that was the idea. Let's have that conversation that's so intense that the world will turn around and be newsy to try to see what they're talking about versus try to talk to the whole world at the same time.
Yeah. Okay. Before I talk about some of your other, specific production works, I just want to kind of talk about you guys in the studio, kind of behind the scenes. What is your chemistry like together, working together? Because, a lot of producers just work on their own, but you guys have been a team for well over a decade now. So talk about that chemistry.
It's like water and oil, man. Water and oil. Don't mix.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's vinegar. Yeah, you know what it is, though, Tom? I think that the cool thing about what me and Carvin do is that we do 2 separate things that add to the production. Like, he's a top-line guy, I'm a music guy, so already we out of each other's way with that. I think if we were 2 producers, like if we both played keyboards or drums or whatever, and he would be arguing about, no, do it like this, do it like that, even though we still make comments about each other's aspect of production. I think him being a songwriter and like, handling those duties and me handling the musical aspect of what we do kind of creates a little bit less pressure of trying to outdo each other,
Yeah.
Kind of like, Gamble and Huff in that sense. Like when one guy wrote the music and the other guy wrote the top line part of it. And I think that's the kind of thing lasts for good.
Yeah, and then the flip side of it too, Tom, is that we respect each other's craft. And the bottom line, it ain't about what I do or what he do. It's about the product. And if the product's not good, then we both know how to go, all right, let's make it better.
Yeah.
Or if it's terrible, we go, all right, throw that in the trash, let's try it again.
Yeah.
It's bigger, the movement is bigger than us. It ain't about us, it's about the music and it's about the product. And I think we were trained in being this way, but we kind of adopted it, and made it our character the way as though there is no ego in this music.
Yeah. Okay, cool. You guys have worked with a ton of very talented artists over the years, a lot of different artists with different styles. So when you go into work with a certain artist, do you tailor your production to them? How does that work? Do you bring them ideas? How does the whole process go?
Tom, everything we do is tailor-made.
Yeah.
Like I guess that's the Carvin and Ivan niche to the game that we do. Like it's bigger than our production. We meet the artist, we get to know the artist, we We find out where they're from. Even the people that we're about to meet with, we do research. We go find out where they came from. Then when we sit down and talk to them, we get a better understanding of where their life is. And then everything we make is like a custom-built suit.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, to elaborate on what he said too, he said, like, that whole research, we do with the artists, is we always make sure that when they come in, they leave with a better sense of who they are. Like, a lot of times artists come in based on, like, your music is your calling card, like your business card. They know you from what you've done out there.
Yeah. And
they come in a lot of times saying, Carvin knows it. Like, they'll come in and say, man, I love that record you did with such and such. I need a record like that.
Yeah.
I guarantee you they come in looking for a record like that, and they leave with exactly the opposite, because us working and talking to them, we kind of figure out who they are, and a lot of them figure out who they are, so that when they leave with a song, an extension of who they are, and not necessarily like a sound that we do that we gave somebody else. Yeah, when we approach it like that, it always, makes for for good magic in the studio.
Yeah.
Yeah, we try to make sure that everybody has their own lane. It doesn't make sense to put 5 blue Bentleys on the street when you can put a blue Bentley, a red Ferrari, and a Lamborghini. You know what I mean?
Yep.
But we try to make sure if we can give you what you need, and like Ivan said, make you better in who you are as a character, and create something great for you. And just to give an idea what Ivan's talking about, John came to us with Raheem Devon and said they wanted, can you give us a record like Buddy for Raheem? And we brought Raheem in, and we gave him Customer, which is nothing like Buddy, but that's the record that fits him perfectly.
Yeah, interesting. I've actually...
Can I add something to that, too?
Yeah.
I don't care about him and 5 Bentleys. I put 5 Bentleys in the street. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Tom. I'm sorry.
All right. I want to ask you about a couple songs you guys, produced over the years. The first one is, just give me some background, what you remember about, the creation of the song. The first one is Justin Timberlake's "Worthy Of." I remember liking that song when I first heard it. I believe it might have been a bonus track on his debut solo album. But just, speak to that one.
I remember when Justin came to Philly. Like, actually, a guy that we knew that was working with him at that time, his named Silas White. Yeah, he was like, yo, I'm working with Justin, real close. I want to bring him to Philly. He's a fan of what you guys do. And at first thought, I was like, stop playing, man. Like, Justin don't look into this thing we do. He's the pop guy. What are you talking about? And, sure enough, like 3 months later, a big tour bus showed up in front of Larry Gold's studio. That's before we got our own studio. That's right at that top. That's like a month before we got into home. Yeah. We were working on Larry Gold. And that was like, that year was crazy. From like June of 01 to June of 02, everybody came to Larry Gold's studio. Yeah. At some point in their career. But he came in and he was working with us. I think he worked with Dramp It Out. Timberland was in there doing strings. And I gotta say, Justin was probably one of the coolest, most down-to-earth artists of that type of stature that we probably worked with. Like, I thought it was gonna be like 50,000 security guards in the studio and, a bunch of assistants, but he was cool. Like, somehow he came in and didn't try to make himself seem the center of attention and bigger than anybody else. And he was just happy and excited to be around the energy we all had. And his work ethic is incredible. Yeah. Like, literally, he might have knocked the song out in a very short time, but he did it, knocked it out, listened to it, went back again, and did it better than the way he did it the first time. Yeah. So it was like we cut the record, we listened, it sounded great, and he went back in the booth and cut it again.
Another one is talk about the work you did on Faith Evans' First Lady album, because I know you guys had a bunch of songs on there. Just talk about working with her on that album.
But the Faith Evans project was actually a really good project and exciting as well, because of course, we all coming up, Faith was already hot before we was even heard of, so it was like an honor to even get in the studio with her. But they gave us 3 days. They said, y'all can go in the studio with Faith for 3 days. We went in, and in 3 days we had 4 songs,
Yeah.
So they was like, wait, let's extend the stay for a week, and then we're going to bring y'all back for another week. But just the energy and the excitement, and Faith was she's actually one of those artists that listen. So you can tell her what's needed, and she'll listen and figure out what you're talking about, and then work to make sure the song get accomplished the way it needs to be accomplished. Yeah. So she's like one of those seasoned artists, and she didn't bring an ego into the room as well, but it was fun. You had a good time with Faith.
Cool.
You can elaborate on that.
No, man, just you hit it on the head. Like it was definitely like I always like when we work with artists who have, you know, I guess a reputation of, like, not reputation, but just iconic artists, and they come in, and whatever you think is going to be, it's totally the opposite, but in a good way. So you always think like, oh man, Faith, she can sing, she's a bad boy, she's going to be a diva. Oh man, you know, I hope we have good songs, hope we have good tracks. She came in, although I'm gonna say this though, came in there, played all these beats, you know what I'm saying, and she was like, I'm not feeling none of that. This is when I first started using Logic Pro. Like, I had just started using it probably a couple of years before. And I was like, man, we here in LA, we got to be here for a whole month. And she didn't feel none of the tracks. She liked a couple of songs that we had, but a lot of the tracks that I had, she was like, yeah, all right. Yeah. So that made me go to the hotel with my laptop. And that was like the first time I ever produced, like, on the road, like, made a beat outside of, like, the studio environment. And I just locked myself up in the hotel room, and I was like, okay, she ain't gonna tell me these beats is what. So I went in and made like 10 joints, and like, out of those 10, I think 4 of those were part of the ones that ended up making that session. Out of the 6 songs we had, I think 4 of those were, 3 or 4 of those might have been on the actual final album.
He'd be a modest town, because literally when we were in the studio recording a record, and so you got the front half of the studio where the mixing board is, the chairs, the control board, and then you got the glass and the booth, and Faith is there. But then right behind the mixing board and the control chair is a whole nother sitting station where most people sit and eat. Ivan had a rig set up right there, making beats while she was recording. In the headphone. Wow. So as soon as we would finish the song, he would like, all right, patch me an engineer, you like this track? Whoa, that's crazy, that's crazy. And we start writing to that track, and then we moved that over to Pro Tools, start writing to that track, and he started working on another track in the headphones again. Oh, wow. That's so cool. It was cool, though, because, like, you know what I'm saying, it put us in a different place. Like, all right, you know, sometimes you need to get challenged. And she challenged us in a cool way. Yeah. You know, we still got mad love for Faith, you know, after all the years. Like, every time we see her, it's always love. Yeah, I tell you what, though, all of this comes from the School of Hard Knocks, the Jazzy Jeff College of Music Production. Because everything was always on pressure. Right now, you got to be ready on the spot. There wasn't no pre-prepared for that whole situation. So, you know, everything is preparation. That's so cool. All right, cool. And just to kind of wrap up, talk about who you guys are currently working with right now. Well, besides developing our own acts, we'll go into it in a couple seconds. We in the studio with Keisha Cole. We just in New York with her, and we got she hit us up. She said she wants some more tracks and stuff. And we were in the studio recently with Red Style, who's another dope singer-songwriter. He's got that new Usher song out called Climax. He's another guy we collaborate with. And then, you know, developing our own roster artists, because that's what really... You forgot the Estelle joint that just dropped. Sorry, Estelle joint just dropped. The Life is the first song on Estelle's album that we produced, and the album that just came out yesterday. And we got I think it may be the next single. There's a song called I Wish I Knew that we did for Alex Boyd. He's a recording artist on RCA. Okay. Yeah. So we got that on deck. Okay. And I know, and our record on Tamia that's coming out on a new project. Oh, also. Nice. But then we got Glenn Lewis that we just worked on. And then a Kenny Lattimore single that's coming. We went back. What we like to do is like bring back some of the old school as well as work with the new school. Yeah. So we got the King Lattimore, then you got to tell them about Kurt Rockboy.
Oh, I was going to elaborate on that by saying that we also, aside from us like working with other artists that are established, I think the one thing that always, you know, we are always conscious of is that we helped launch some artists back in the day when how we got into the game. Like we came in and helped brand some careers, you know, with music, Jill, Floetry, and you know, it's always cool when you add another artist into the music industry narrative. Like, so we always are conscious of trying to find new talent and develop, because you know with the music keeps changing and evolving, and we're doing just that right now. We got just dropped this project on our label Forever Music on Kurt Chambers. He's a singer, songwriter, guitar player from Philly.
Yep.
He's actually Grammy nominated with us on the Jaheim record, Finding My Way Back.
Yep.
Just released this album. It's free digital download. We dropped it on Valentine's Day. It was available from www.kurtchambers.com. It's called One Way Ticket, and you know we're just doing that just to brand and add to the whole catalog by just saying, hey, you know what? Everything doesn't have to be a mixtape that you get for free. So we went in and did a real album on it. The only difference is that it's available for free. All you got to do is just tweet about it, talk about it, or post something about it on your social network. Which is us saying, you know, you have to keep adding to the whole, you know, music, soul narrative, and adding new artists into the fold, or the music is going to go away. And Carvin's working with two amazing vocalists over there.
Yeah, Chanel Ray and Bria Marie Moss Wilkerson, incredible artists. And we're just developing, and you guys will be hearing about them and hearing from them real soon. So we, as a tandem, we try to make sure, like Ivan said, we got to bring something new, refreshing, and add some yin to the yang. There's a lot of yang out there. It needs some yin to be added. So we add some yin.
Cool, good stuff. And anything else you guys would like to add?
Ivan's a dummy. Put that down there. Ivan's a dummy.
He's like, I can't wait till the interview's over.
I'm good, Doc. What you got to say?
No, man, everything, we're good.
Okay, cool.
And always thank God.
Yeah.
I got soul.com for showing us love. And,
definitely.
And, keeping form alive out there for artists that doing this genre, this urban music genre, because it's really, really needed right now.
Yeah.
I think a lot of emphasis is being placed on how unpopular a genre is and how it's not selling, but I think what's happening is that the message is somehow it's getting clouded and it's not really getting out there the way it needs to be. So the focus needs to go back to people making music they feel, and not music that they feel like they gotta get forced to make.
Right, so like they can make an income from. And on top of it all, we definitely just give shots out to our management team who pushed us and been pushing us ever since.
Yeah.
Mama's Boys Management.